The rain was relentless that night in Seattle, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. Griffin, a 43-year-old architect, sat staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Anya, my wife of 15 years, was a light sleeper, but tonight she was dead to the world beside me. Or so it seemed. I'd been feeling uneasy for weeks, a gnawing suspicion that I couldn't shake. Anya, a vibrant and successful marketing executive, had been working late more often, attending conferences in cities I couldn't easily verify, and her phone had become a sacred object, never left unattended, always password protected. It started subtly. A change in her perfume, a new dress I hadn't seen before, a slight hesitation when I asked about her day. Each small detail chipped away at the foundation of trust we'd built over years. One evening, while Anya was supposedly at a networking event downtown, I decided to surprise her. I drove to the address she'd mentioned, a trendy new bar called the Obsidian. I walked in, scanned the room, and nothing. No Anya. I called her and it went straight to voicemail. "Sorry, I'm in a meeting," the automated voice chirped. "I'll get back to you as soon as I can." That was the moment the seed of doubt truly sprouted. I felt a cold dread creeping into my bones. I started paying closer attention. I checked our bank statements, our credit card bills. Nothing overtly suspicious, but there were small, unexplained charges: lunches at restaurants I didn't recognize, flowers delivered to an address I didn't know. Then came the email. It was an accident, a careless oversight on Anya's part. She'd left her laptop open on the kitchen counter while she went to take a call. I wasn't snooping, not initially. I just wanted to look up a recipe. But there it was, a new email notification from an unfamiliar sender. Curiosity, or perhaps a desperate need for answers, overwhelmed me. I clicked on it. The email was short, but its impact was devastating. "Dinner tonight at the Azure, 8 p.m. Can't wait to see you, my love." Cayenne, the Azure, another upscale restaurant one Anya had never mentioned. Cayenne, who the hell was Cayenne? My hands trembled as I read the email again and again, each word a hammer blow to my heart. The world seemed to tilt, the room swam before my eyes. I closed the laptop, my mind reeling. I couldn't breathe. I needed to know more. Over the next few days, I became obsessed. I learned Cayenne's full name, Cayenne Morrow, and discovered he was a senior partner at a rival marketing firm. I found pictures of him online, handsome, arrogant, with a predatory glint in his eyes. I felt a rage building inside me, a white-hot fury that threatened to consume me. But beneath the anger was a deep, aching sadness. The woman I loved, the woman I had dedicated my life to, was betraying me. And with someone who seemed to embody everything I despised, I decided to hire a private investigator. It felt like something out of a bad movie, but I didn't know what else to do. I found a reputable agency, explained my suspicions to a no-nonsense woman named Mallory. She listened patiently, her expression neutral, and promised to get me the evidence I needed. The next week was agonizing. Every smile from Anya felt like a lie, every touch a betrayal. I found myself pulling away from her, unable to mask my growing resentment. She noticed, of course. "Griffin, what's wrong?" she'd asked one evening, her brow furrowed with concern. "You've been so distant lately." I wanted to scream, to confront her, to demand the truth, but I held back. I needed proof. I needed to know the full extent of her deception. Finally, Mallory called. "I have something for you," she said, her voice grave. "Can you meet me at my office tomorrow morning?" The next day I sat in Mallory's office, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. She placed a thick envelope on the table. "This is everything we've gathered," she said. "Photographs, emails, phone records, it's all there." I opened the envelope, my heart pounding in my chest. The photographs were explicit. Anya and Cayenne kissing, embracing, entering a hotel together. The emails were even more damning: declarations of love, plans for a future together, cruel jokes about me. I felt sick, utterly and completely devastated. The evidence was irrefutable. My wife was having an affair, and not just a casual fling. This was a deep, passionate, and calculated betrayal. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, wandering aimlessly through the city. I couldn't go home. I couldn't face Anya. I ended up at a dive bar near the waterfront, nursing a whiskey and staring out at the rain-swept harbor. I thought about our life together, the years we'd shared, the dreams we'd made. It all seemed like a lie now, a carefully constructed facade that had crumbled before my eyes. Was any of it real? Did she ever truly love me? By the time I finally returned home, it was late. Anya was asleep in our bed. I stood in the doorway watching her. She looked peaceful, innocent. But I knew the truth. I knew the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. I couldn't stay there, not for another minute. I packed a bag, grabbed my keys, and left. I drove to a small motel on the outskirts of the city, a place as bleak and desolate as my own heart. I spent the next few days in a fog of grief and anger. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I just replayed the images in my mind, torturing myself with the details of Anya's betrayal. Finally, I knew I had to confront her. I called her and asked her to meet me at a park near our house. She arrived looking nervous, her eyes darting around as if she expected me to explode. "Griffin, what's going on?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. I didn't say anything. I just handed her the envelope containing the evidence. She opened it, her face paling as she looked at the photographs. "Griffin," she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. "I can explain what, Anya?" I said, my voice cold and hard. "Explain how you betrayed me. Explain how you lied to me for months. Explain how you made me look like a fool." She started to cry. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she sobbed. "It just happened. Kyan and I, we just connected," I said, my voice rising. "You connected. You call sleeping with another man connecting. I know I hurt you," she said, her voice choked with tears. "I'm so sorry, Griffin. Please, can you forgive me? Forgive her. After everything she had done. After the lies, the deception, the humiliation. I wouldn't. I want a divorce, Anya," I said, my voice flat and emotionless. "I want you out of my life." She looked at me, her eyes filled with despair. "Griffin, please don't do this," she begged. "We can work through this. I promise it won't happen again." "It's too late, Anya," I said. "You broke my trust. You destroyed our marriage. There's no going back." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there alone in the park, her sobs echoing in the empty air. The divorce was messy and acrimonious. Anya fought me every step of the way, trying to get as much money as possible. She even tried to paint me as an abusive husband, claiming I had been controlling and manipulative. But I had the evidence on my side. The photographs, the emails, the phone records. The truth was undeniable. In the end, she got what she deserved. A bitter divorce, a ruined reputation, and a broken heart. Kyan, it turned out, was a serial cheater, a man who preyed on vulnerable women. He dumped Anya as soon as the divorce proceedings became public, leaving her alone and humiliated. I, on the other hand, started to rebuild my life. It wasn't easy. The pain of Anya's betrayal lingered for a long time, but I slowly began to heal. I threw myself into my work, reconnected with old friends, and started exploring new hobbies. One day I met a woman named Imogen. She was kind, intelligent, and compassionate. She had also been through a painful divorce, and she understood the scars that betrayal can leave behind. We started dating, and slowly, cautiously, I began to open my heart again. Imogen showed me that it was possible to love again, to trust again, even after the deepest betrayal. Anya eventually reached out to me years later. She was sick, desperately sick, and she needed my help. She had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and she had no one else to turn to. Part of me wanted to ignore her, to let her suffer the consequences of her actions. But another part of me, the part that still remembered the woman I had once loved, couldn't turn my back on her. I helped her as much as I could. I paid for her medical treatments, visited her in the hospital, and provided her with emotional support. It wasn't easy, but I did it because it was the right thing to do. Anya eventually passed away after a long and painful battle with cancer. I attended her funeral, along with a handful of her friends and family. As I stood there, watching her coffin being lowered into the ground, I felt a strange mix of emotions: sadness, regret, and a sense of closure. Anya's betrayal had changed me irrevocably. It had taught me the fragility of trust, the pain of heartbreak, and the importance of forgiveness. It had also shown me the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of finding love and happiness again, even after the darkest of times. I am now happily married to Imogen, and we have built a life filled with love, trust, and mutual respect. Anya's betrayal is a part of my past, but it does not define my future. I have learned from my mistakes, and I am determined to live a life of honesty, integrity, and compassion. and that in the end is the best revenge of all.